Hi, I'm Patrick Hayes, and I'm about to give my speech for English 1101. It's a requirement to finish the course. I choose why do people love scary movies? Um, Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you today to explain why we as a society love horror movies. There are several theories as to why we crave all the blood, guts, and gore in general. In speaking to you today, I plan on analyzing just a few of these reasons. Number one, we all like to be scared. I, for one, try to imagine myself as the guy in 28 Days Later. Each time the guy fights off one of the infected, my heart races and the blood gets to pumping. And before I know it, I'm screaming at the TV, "Move! Look! It's right behind you!" That, folks, is called an adrenaline rush. I automatically find myself thinking, what would I do in a situation like that? It's a rather cheap thrill compared to the drugs that junkies use to get the same rush. Number two, it reminds us of when we were small and we just knew that there was a monster in the closet, under the bed, in the basement, etc. A perfect example of this is the kind of fear in Stephen King's It. The clown Pennywise isn't actually a clown at all. It was the clown to attract children and then manifest that child's innermost fear. For one child, it's a werewolf. For another child, it's an abusive father. And for another, it is that beast in the cellar. It is a classic textbook example of that kind of fear. Stephen King calls that a fairy tale horror film. Number three, we're all just a little crazy. The super crazies that carve up their families, or kids that get caught mutilating animals get locked away. Having said that, do you ever talk to yourself? Do you have a super clean house or a really organized closet? Some may say that you are schizophrenic or maybe even obsessive compulsive. Then maybe, just maybe, seeing Michael Myers chase Jamie Lee Curtis up the stairs with a carving knife is an outlet for some of those would-be Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. Morbidly unchained, or maybe our most horrible thoughts locked in by imaginations manifested in the dark. Nonetheless, on a giant silver screen, that is why we pay our $7.75 to park our bottoms 10th row middle seat and scream like a maniac. That sounds feasible to me. Those are just a few of the reasons I think people love scary movies. I personally relate to reason number one. I just like to be scared a little. When the movie is over and my heart is still thumping, I consider that money well spent. It's even better when you can catch one on TV for free. In that case, it would be time well spent. I referenced Stephen King several times in this speech. It is my opinion that he is the master of scary tales of all kinds. If you're into something realistic, it's not exactly the way to go. Science fiction junkies would enjoy The Langoliers. Religious people would enjoy The Stand. Someone who was bullied might find Carrie is right up their alley. Firestarter will be good for a closet pyromaniac. My point is, if you are looking for a good scare, no matter who you are, Stephen King is your man. Don't worry, I won't laugh if you sleep with the light on. I don't blame you. We all get scared sometimes. And here's my visual aid. It shows the top 5 grossing movies of all time, with the Gremlins being number 1. Who would have ever thought? Of course, The Blair Witch, The Ring, The Grudge, Interview with a Vampire. This is the top 5. I could have chosen the top 10, but I chose the top 5. I thought it would be more simplified for people to kind of gather it in. Also, Friday the 13th is creeping up on the number 1. or actually to the number 5 with the newest film that came out with. I personally stopped liking Friday the 13th around the 4th sequel. Some movies, they really just pound into the ground and they need to just let them go. Um, the Gremlins wasn't one of them. They finally ended it on a high note, obviously at $148 million. That's it. So I hope you enjoy all your scary movies and try to be scared. It helps with life sometimes.